And welcome to this week's episode of Mum Talk. It's happening. We're back, and I'm so excited. This is amazing. It's going to take me a while to get into my groove, everybody, okay? And I'm going to really try to not edit the podcast as much as I did last week because that was a little bit bitty. It's just very strange being back in the podcast seat. It's very hard to get my words out, mum brain fog, all the rest of it. So yes, I'm sitting here right now recording in the sunshine, which is amazing. I moved my desk over to the window, seeing as this is going to be a thing and I'm going to be sitting here every week. I want to be looking out into the blue sky, manifesting blue sky here for the rest of the year. But I do have a poorly little one downstairs, so I am very much hoping that he stays put. Hendrik, my husband, is here today, and he is very much holding the fort because the juggle is ridiculous today. I am struggling a little bit with managing my workload. So it is not lost on me that I am building an app to help women, mothers in particular, with overwhelm and reduce overwhelm, yet I'm making myself extremely overwhelmed in the process. Yeah, not great, but at least I've got an app for it. And actually, it is really helping and revolutionizing my day, which is why I know that it really, really works. I didn't want to get into the app stuff straight off, but seeing as we're here, it is revolutionizing my day. I literally, the night before, go in, offload absolutely everything that I know that I need to do today, whether it be for the app, whether it be for Mum Talk, whether it be for my personal account, whether it be emails, contacting developers, etc., etc. I go in, I sort that, and then in the morning, currently, because I haven't made this update yet, but in the morning I go in to plan my day, I press the button, it plans out my day for me, and it schedules everything in to make sure I end at the end of the day knowing exactly what I'm doing and that I will have achieved everything on that list. I mean, okay, it might not be everything, things happen, i.e. having a poorly little boy at home, but that is what happens, and it's just game changing because the amount of times I would get to the end of the day, especially recently, feeling like I had accomplished diddly squat, absolutely nothing, and it is the most disheartening, just really shitty feeling, So yes, but the update that's coming to the app is that I am going to be doing a Plan My Day feature which you can press the night before, which I think is going to be even better because you'll be able to offload your brain, get all your tasks out and the ones that are in there, and it's going to take into account what you've got in your linked external calendar or any appointments that you've put in, any tasks that you've put in, any projects you're working towards, any work hours that you need to avoid because of course you can't do tasks within those work hours. And then when you have sorted all of that out of your brain, the app has sorted everything for you. You'll press Plan My Day the night before, you'll go to sleep with everything organised, knowing exactly how your day looks, or you might not choose to look at it if that's too overwhelming, but you can prioritise high priority tasks. You can select, if you're picking up the kids at 3:30, you can select a light task load between 3:30 and 7:30. So the app will make sure that you're not doing any hard, tasks that require a lot of brain power at that time. So at that time, it might give you things like you wipe down the kitchen counters if that's something on your cleaning list, because within the app there's also, you can select if you want to see it or not, but there's little cleaning reminders just to help you stay on top of it, like clean the loos or clean the bottom of the shower or make sure you've unloaded the laundry or hung up the laundry that you did yesterday, or just those little reminders that in downtime or the time that your brain needs a break, if you're working on something at home or you're at work, you can just be like, oh God, I need to do that. I've got to get that done. I really do believe this is a game changer. So I am full force pushing through on this idea. This was not the level of motivation that I had at the weekend, by the way. At the weekend, my God, self-doubt was creeping in big time. I've had some amazing feedback on the app, but I've also had some feedback which I just can't gauge. I can't gauge if the beta user is using it. All of the feedback is I don't know who's left it. It's anonymous. I thought that would make everybody feel a little bit more comfortable about being honest. And I can't quite gauge if that feedback is, yes, I love it, but it's just missing a few features, or I love it and it's... Basically what I'm trying to say is the app that I have made with my 0 developer skills is absolutely fantastic, and the idea is fantastic. The execution needs, I think, the fluff removed. I'm very good at fluffing most things, and I think it needs the fluff removed. It needs clarity, it needs visual clarity. The design, actually, I've had a feedback of the flow and the user flow, and everything is fantastic. Sorry, tooting my own horn here, but the fluff needs to be removed. It needs to be clearer. It needs to be more succinct. It needs to, it really is aimed at an overwhelmed mother going in for a mental and emotional overwhelm tool, which then gives you the world to continue your day, essentially. So it's that initial user getting in there. And I think I've also got to make users aware that, as with most apps like this, family planners, which this is not, by the way, this is not a family planner. It is an overwhelm emotional and mental tool that will make you feel brilliant. And within that, you have the ability to have this wonderful family planner, because it does give you your headspace back. Hence why it's called the visible load, because it is making your invisible load visible to everybody. Anyway, I digress from how I got here, I don't know, but what I'm trying to say is the juggle of trying to fit all of this in has just been a little bit crazy. I'm trying to relaunch the podcast. I'm trying to design and launch the app. I'm trying to juggle the fact that it's Easter holidays next week. My God, this week. Easter holidays this week. I'm running 3 Instagram accounts and trying to pull them out of the absolute dungeons, because I've been away from Instagram for 3 years, and so the accounts have just plummeted into the abyss. And I need y'all to interact with my socials, please. Mum Talk is amazing, but I don't think I'm getting to you. Are you seeing it? Would you go on there and tell me if you're seeing it? Because I've had so many messages being like, oh my gosh, you've just popped up, I didn't know you were back. And that was kind of, I've been back 6 or 7 posts ago now, and people are saying they've literally just seen one. So you're not necessarily seeing it. So if you do see it, or please could you just now actually log into your socials, add me to your favorites. I'm about to post a video on that showing you how to do that. Add me to your favorites so you see me, because I am desperately trying to reconnect with you all. I am desperately trying to come back. You know what it feels like? It feels like I am on the outside of my friendship group. This probably sounds ridiculous, but it feels like I have this amazing group of friends, and I'm just alone on the outside a little bit, and I'd like to come back in. I'd like to come back into my friendship group, please, and I'd like to come back into my community, which is ridiculous because it's formed there because of Mum Talk. But I'd like to get back in and talk to you all and connect with you all and see how you all are and hear from you and share silly things and feel more comfortable. A lot of this is just getting comfortable again behind the camera, which is taking me a bit of time, but I'm just trying to throw as much as I can out there. And hopefully what I'm saying is resonating. But what I do want to make sure is that I'm adding value to whatever I'm sharing. I know you all say that you enjoy hearing my musings on life and experiences, but I feel like there needs to be a takeaway, especially for social media. There needs to be that takeaway. And of course, I'm trying to grow the community. I'm always trying to grow the community because I feel more and more mums would benefit from not necessarily hearing my voice and my ramblings, but benefit from the connection of all of you in the community. So it would be really nice if we could try and get more of a discussion and a sharing space where we're all sharing our experiences. And if you listened to the podcast last week and if you saw a social media post on kind of what does everyone want to see from this podcast, my reasoning behind trying to get you guys to contribute anonymously to the podcast of experiences is to have a bit of a laugh and to have a bit of a cry with you. So we are listening and sharing to how other people are experiencing motherhood. And I think the essence of where the podcast started was to make myself not feel alone and make other mothers not feel alone. And I think sharing experiences of other mothers will only do that, along with, of course, the topics of what's going on in my life, topics with guests. I definitely want to get guests back on. I really want to have Anna Martha back on to talk about the psychological aspect of motherhood, which I'm going to get onto, and I'm going to move on to that now. So as you can hear from my voice, it's been busy, and I was just sitting downstairs with Elwood playing a game, and I found it really difficult to be present. And what's so crazy is that the reason that I am attempting to be an entrepreneur and attempting to do a very small tech startup is because I want to be at home and I want to be able to be with the children. I want to be able to drop everything and be here when they're ill. Partly that is because of my husband's job, and we don't have any family support immediately close by. My mum's an hour and a bit away, but she's often about 5 hours away the other side of the country, so she's not right here to help, and my husband's mother is obviously in France, so we don't have that easy connection if the children are sick, to be able to drop everything. So that is one of the reasons, but I just couldn't focus when I was playing with him, because all that was running around in my head was this to-do list, which is just not going to get ticked off today. And then the fact that the children only have 2 more days of school. Elwood might not be in school tomorrow or the next day, and I've got to somehow get a week and a half of bits sorted so I don't drop off the face of the earth again. But I know that is a little bit expected, but it's a challenge. It is a challenge. Little insight into my world there, but I have been overwhelmed, and I haven't been treating myself well. I have the gym keeps me sane, but it does mean that because I do it, I am that I'm out of the working window for probably about an hour and a bit whilst I go to the gym. So there's that constant decision of moving my body versus the amount of work I could get done in the time that I was moving my body. But I do go anyway, and it keeps me mentally and physically fit, and I love it, and it helps me disconnect from everything else that I'm trying to do, and it calms my nervous system, which is a requirement daily. And I practice yoga in the morning to do that as well, but I do find it very overwhelming, the amount of stuff that I have to fit into the day. But I've just segued again, haven't I? I was talking about Elwood and playing with him downstairs, and not being able to focus, and I found myself being really cross with myself that my brain would not just be present and be in the moment and let me focus on my child and let me focus on play. And I found myself at one point just getting the teeniest, tiniest little bit snappy. You guys probably wouldn't think I'd be being snappy, but I felt like I was being snappy. And it was ridiculous, because this is the whole reason. This is the whole reason why I work for myself and I'm self-employed. And with all of the risk that comes with that, and with all of the constant, you never feel like you're not working really when you're working for yourself. But you're always trying to make the most of all the opportunities that you possibly can. And it's really challenging. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys have seen my sourdough ebook, or guide, I should call it, because I've been trying to think of things that I can share that's of value to you all. And of course, it's going to support me and my family. I do the podcast for free. I did the podcast for free for many, many years. I did get a few sponsorships, but that the sponsorships that I can get versus the sponsorships that probably celebrities can get are extremely small amounts of financial support. And it costs a lot to host a podcast, not only in time, but in the software that you require and the hosting platforms that you require, etc., etc. So I'm trying to find some. I would like to keep this podcast kind of sponsorship free if I can. So I'm trying to find ways to share value to you all, but also ways that if you feel inclined that you can support me. So I created this sourdough guide because my friends are always asking me for the recipe, because I have come up with a way of making sourdough where it literally takes me all of less than 10 minutes really, hands-on time, to make 2 loaves, one which I bake immediately on the same day, by the way, so this isn't a 2-day process, on the same day. And in that same process I've made a loaf which stays in the fridge, and I can pull out when we finish the first one, which is often by Wednesday or Thursday, and it's a freshly baked loaf ready to go. And I often cook that the night before, so it's ready to slice in the morning when the children wake up and want breakfast. And we try to live as much as we can completely free from ultra-processed and low toxic life. And if you're aware of what is in our bread these days, then that was a very, very easy, convenient switch to make. Anyway, so I have made this very clear, very easy, but very detailed, in-depth guide, which includes how to make a starter and how to keep your starter. Many recipes for starters require you to feed it every single day, and I've found over the couple of years that I've been doing this that I wasted so much flour, and it took so much time to measure out the flour and feed the starter that time I just didn't have. So anyway, in my method, you literally replenish your starter after you've made your dough and pop it in the fridge. And it's just easy. And then you pull it out the night before you want to use it the next day. Easy, easy, easy. Couldn't be simpler. And I have priced it the price of a sourdough loaf that you would go and buy in the market over the weekend. It's $4.99. It's, just a little bit more than a coffee and a cookie. And I would love it if you guys feel so inclined, if you guys want to get into making your own bread that's a little bit better than for your gut than traditional bread, then go and have a look and go and buy it. The link's in my bio. It's on Stan Store, so it's all, super legit. And I've put loads of time and effort into it. And please go and support me. And if you feel like purchasing, then that would mean the absolute world to me. So please go do that. Okay, so Overwhelm. Let's talk about Overwhelm. I touched on it very briefly last week on the podcast because I was giving you a little bit of an overview of what I've been doing, wasn't I? And where the idea for the visible load, the app, came from. And I got a lot of DMs asking me, I'm overwhelmed too. How do you manage your overwhelm? How do you get past it? Are you still overwhelmed? So I thought I'd share with you, yes, I'm still overwhelmed. I don't actually necessarily think that goes away just instantly. I'm not overwhelmed all the time. I find that I become overwhelmed very, very quickly, and it often takes extremely small things to trigger just becoming really overwhelmed. I think a lot of that stems from the support that I feel in our family, I think. And often when I don't feel like I have the support that I need, the small things will add up. And it's the ridiculous things. It's the cleaning, it's the laundry, it's the packing if we're going anywhere, it's the making the meals, the fact that, if you're working and then you've got to make sure that dinner's on the table at 5:30, but dinner's going to take an extra 45 minutes or half an hour to make, and then you've got to clear up, and then it's bedtime, and it's just all those little things that add up, which is of course motherhood. Of course it is. This is the part of having children, and this is the tricky juggle. But it is difficult to find ways to, I guess, center yourself, bring yourself back into your body and take a deep breath and move forward with your day. So my tools for overwhelm. Obviously, I'm going to say this. My number one tool for overwhelm right now is my app. There's no point in me having developed it if, this is the reason why I developed it. It was never meant to be something for everybody. It was just for myself to start with. Because I offload everything onto there. Everything is out of my brain, which then gives me the space in my brain for all of the little things, so I don't become overwhelmed so quickly. I think my workload at the moment is unsustainable, and that's what's triggering my overwhelm. Once that workload starts to settle, or actually once I start to manage it better, because right now I'm not managing it better. I'm trying to work when the children are at school, and then I am trying to put the kids to bed, and then I work in the evening, and I work so well in the evening. I'm very focused. I wrote my dissertation for my university degree pretty much in the night, not overnight. That would be a dream, wouldn't it? In the night. And I wrote, so I'm most effective at working at night. So I tend to work, or I have been working recently from about 7:30 until about 2 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm waking up with the kids at 7 a.m. Actually often earlier at 6:30 to practice yoga to bring myself calmly into the day. So I'm not managing it well. But when I do manage it well, I put things in place. So I wake up before the children wake up. I get my butt downstairs. I put my face outside, even if it's raining. I just put my face outside. If it's pouring with rain, I literally stick my head out the window. But otherwise, I will go outside and I will stand outside and I will take some deep breaths. Then I get on my yoga mat, and I know that lots of people say this and lots of yoga teachers say this, but I genuinely, mat or no mat, just shake your body. Shake it. Shake your body. Shake the night off. Shake the sleep away. Shake. Shaking does so much. It improves our lymphatic drainage. It just brings energy into the body. I can't explain it any other way, but it, makes a huge difference. Shake, shake, shake. And then flow in whatever way makes your body feel good. And I cannot stress this enough. Don't follow a yoga flow. Don't follow a Pilates flow unless you really, really want to, unless you're feeling super motivational. But if you're in an overwhelmed state, we need to get you back into your body. We need to get you back connecting with your breath. We need to get you back to feeling into your body. And I know it probably sounds a bit strange if you're not from, if you don't practice yoga, but any form of movement, it's that same feeling that you're trying to harness when you're just out walking and you feel calm. And you feel like you have space, and you feel like you can breathe in the fresh air. You know, when you're overwhelmed and you go outside and you go for a walk, you take a big breath and you just go, okay, right, I am here. I'm going for a walk. It's that same sense that we're trying to get when we get out of bed in the morning. This is what we're trying to do. So get on your mat or stand on a rug or be outside on the grass. Even better if you can take socks off or slippers off and ground your feet into the grass, even better. And as the months get warmer, that's where I'll be. Shake, move your body, and maybe get on all fours, give your back a roll around. I've got a few videos on Emma Jolin Instagram. I have 3 now, this is getting ridiculous. On my Emma Jolin Instagram, there are lots of little yoga videos. You might need to scroll back into the history a little bit, but I'm going to be posting new ones on there as well. It's not even yoga, it's movement very much based on your intuition, on how it feels, on how it feels. So if you're on all fours and you feel a little tweak in your shoulder, give a little roll around into that shoulder to make it feel better. Or your lower back, do some arching of your back and then let it go and slouch into your tummy. Take some big breaths and expand the rib cage really, 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 really big. And then as an exhale, open your mouth and just let it all out. I will do more on this if you would like me to. If you're listening to this and thinking, can you do a bit more on this? Then I will. I could even do a podcast where we're kind of flowing through some movement together in the morning. That could be a quite fun one to do. And then you could always put it on in the morning and listen to it, and we can do a bit of a roll around. If you like that idea, go into my DMs and tell me you like the idea. And remind me that I've mentioned this idea on the podcast, because that's something else I forget a lot these days. So yes, that's one of my main go-tos. The app, download everything, get everything out of my brain so my brain has space for all of the little things. Move in the morning. bedtime routine, I use, and actually I'm trying to get them to give me an affiliate link so I can get you guys a discount. But I have been using for the last, 3 years now probably, the Sweet Sleep Magnesium Butter Balm from Sweet Bee Organics. It is a magnesium butter. You don't necessarily have to use theirs. You can use lots of others, but it is a magnesium butter. I trust theirs. It's beautiful. It's handmade in Frome, and I trust the company, and I trust the ingredients that they use. So I do like this specific one, but I rub it on the soles of my feet, I rub it on my knees, and I rub it on the backs of my legs. I often get tired legs a lot. And then any kind of residual, I'll rub it across my chest so I can mainly just smell it in bed because it smells of a beautiful lavender. I think they've now started to theme the Sweet Sleep magnesium butters to the season. So I think there's a winter smell, there's a summer smell, a spring smell. I think they've just launched their spring smell. But I adore the lavender smell, so I hope they're keeping that in. And I just got it on subscription, and I think my pot, I use a very small amount, mainly because I'm very frugal and haven't got money to spend on this stuff, but it has really made a difference, and it makes a difference to my sleep. I originally bought it for the kids, actually, for Amandine's anxiety, to rub it into her feet to try and get her to go to sleep a little bit easier. But the children don't get a look in these days. It's mine. I'll put it on their feet if they're poorly or they're not feeling well, or if they really can't sleep, they'll ask for the magnesium butter, and there's a little roller as well that I use. I can't remember what it's called, the roller, but I can't remember. I don't think they have many, so it's one of those. Calming roller, maybe, simple name like that. So I use that, and I really swear by it. I don't go anywhere without it. In fact, I went out to the mountains with my mum and my sister in January just to take a breath. We literally went for 3 nights, but it was enough to just... I'd never been away from the children before in 7, almost 8 years, so it was very needed. Could have done with longer, but it was very needed. And I even took that away with me, and my sister and my mum were like, why? We all shared one suitcase to go away. My mum said, why does your bath bag weigh 1 kilogram? And I don't wear any makeup, as you can probably tell. I look like shit every day, but I don't wear makeup. And or I tend not to wear makeup. I really should, probably, as I'm aging and my face is drooping. But and she's like, you don't have any makeup in here. What is in here? I was like, it's probably my magnesium butter, and most of my skincare is in glass jars, so it's probably that. She's like, do you think you could decant it? It's like, I haven't got anything to decant it into. So I probably do need to invest in the travel pots and then just reuse those when they empty. Anyway, sorry, I digress. But that is, I would say those are the 3 things in my toolkit. And then doing little things, and I know it sounds silly, but doing little things like tasks I enjoy, hence making sourdough. I like that task because I'm also giving to my family. I am giving them something. I am doing something for other people with a task that I'm enjoying, and also it involves my hands. It's tactile. When I'm feeling overwhelmed, and a big piece of advice I would give is get back into your body through touch, through smell. Go smell the flowers. Go smell the daffodils at this time of year. Go smell the grass. Anything. I know it's difficult if you live in a city, but go smell, feel, breathe. It's really that connection that we're trying to get. Even as simple, actually, as going to the sink. It sounds silly, but go to the sink, close your eyes, and either run the tap or run a little bowl of water and put your hands in the water. Feel the coolness as it touches your hands. Feel the softness as it touches your hands. Move your fingers and feel the water as it flows through your fingers. It really almost imagine that you're teaching a child how to feel water. Like, wiggle your fingers. Can you feel it through your hands? It's that trying to get back to you. Take some magnesium butter or some moisturizer and rub your legs with it, or rub your arms with it. Get some hand cream and rub some hand cream through your hands. It's that touch. Wrap your arms around you and give yourself a hug. As cheesy as that sounds, like, that's one of the reasons that when we are overwhelmed, or we kind of reach for ourselves. It's an God, what's the word? It's an unintentional body reflex, I suppose, or reaction to wanting to feel a little bit more secure. It takes a lot to be able to move our arms away from our bodies. And I think in an overwhelm state, you either get, kind of that goes a little bit too big, or you start folding into yourself. And I find I also can flatly hit a bottom and just give up. And I have done that a few times when I have become super overwhelmed. A few months ago, when I was really, really struggling, it would be like a switch. The overwhelm would be coming all day, the switch would flick, and then I'd shut down. And I would just either have to go upstairs and lie down, or I would just be completely vacant. There's nothing in here. Like, there's nothing behind my eyes. Like, I'm done. I'm finished. I can't do anymore. Like, my brain is I have completely imploded. Like, I'm done. And it's that feeling that I hate. And with kids, you can't really have it, because life goes on. The kids get home from school and they're like, Mummy, watch this. Mummy, I did this at school. Mummy, which is amazing. And I want them to share all of that with me. But I want to be present, to be like, yes, darling, you aced it. Yes, that's amazing. Or, oh, was that person horrible to you? That's shitty. Let's try and make this better, or let's not make it better. Let's figure out how you feel about this. I want to be there, and I want the clogs to be ticking, and I want them to be going, and I want to be present for my children. But I haven't been, and I wasn't. So, yeah, there we go. Overwhelm. There's my toolkit. I feel it. I know I'm not the only one. Times were really bad, but they are getting better, and the app has helped, and relaunching Mum Talk has helped for me, because it's given me purpose. It's given me something to get up, and I feel passionately about it, and I really feel I want to help. I want to be there for mothers. I want to be there for people who are feeling the way I feel, because it's shitty. It's a shitty place to be. And you don't see it on the outside. You go along, you see your friends, you go to coffees, you go to birthday parties, you put on your face and you get out there and you do your thing, and you don't want to spend the whole evening, although I actually find this quite difficult, and my friends probably get extremely fed up with me, because a lot of the time I do just give a bit of a download, and I'm probably known as the friend that's no fun to be around, because she's always complaining about something. But recently I've been trying to tone it down. I've been trying to keep it to myself, because it isn't any fun to hear about, feeling shit. And people are like, well, how are you? How have you been? It's been really great to see you. And you don't want to answer that question with, well, actually, I've been really crappy. I've felt really hard to get out of bed at the times. I've questioned whether I'm depressed and suffering from extreme anxiety. And yeah, nice to see you too, pal. It's just not the one, is it? It's not the one. So yeah, it's felt quite lonely. And I also am not too sure the male sex. I'm not going to single out my husband here, because I don't think it's him. But I don't think they can necessarily understand where you're at, unless you have a very, 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 very emotionally supportive and emotionally up-to-date husband. And I'm not sure mine would fall into that category. I'll say that quickly. Didn't hear it here. So yes, I haven't felt particularly supported in it, and to be honest, I've probably treated him quite badly during all of this. I am not, an angel halo with my shining halo over here. He has copped it. He has copped my bad moods. He's really copped my snappiness. The perimenopause word gets thrown out a lot in our household. But I went to go and have bloods last week, or the week before it was. And I got the results, I think, just a couple of days after I published the podcast. And apparently all my levels are normal. But I mean, you know what they're like. They say they're normal, and then you actually go and have a look, and they're like at the very, very bottom of normal. So I do need to go on my system and actually have a look at the bloods and see where they fall. Because, I can tick a lot of boxes. And then, yeah, I actually can tick a lot it seems, of the ADHD boxes. I had a couple of messages in my DMs after posting a little bit about the reasoning behind the app. And I had about 4 or 5 DMs being like, I'm diagnosed with ADHD and I think you might be too. And it's very possible. But I'm also not sure that I'm just not overwhelmed, or, have been overwhelmed and haven't found my purpose. And I'm not one to, I'm very grateful for the messaging kind of raising my awareness to it. But I am not one to need or necessarily desire a label for something. So, and I can't tick all the boxes either. So anyway, I'm not going to talk about that because I don't think I very much think the app is going to very, very much help a woman's ADHD brain. 100% will totally make a difference and revolutionize the day of somebody who suffers with ADHD. But in terms of me personally, I'm not there yet to kind of get a diagnosis or go down that route as to explore it, or just because I don't, whether I am or not. I'm not sure it makes a huge amount of difference, because I am already working to manage it and already working on the solution. Not necessarily think you can't, cure yourself, but I am putting tools in place to help me, and I am putting tools in place to help other women, tools in place to reduce overwhelm and to get through my day and to accomplish things. Anyway, there we go. So I feel you. If you're overwhelmed, I feel you. Let me know if you're there. And I hope that those few little tools will maybe help you as well. But movement, yes, do it. You've got to move. Try and get up before the kids. Put some sleep routines in place. No phones in the bedroom. That's actually, I find that one quite tricky actually. No phones in the bedroom, but also reading before bed, no screens before bed, all that kind of stuff that we're told on the daily not to do. Definitely do it. I also actually play a Spotify playlist on my phone. It's called, I think it's sleep, music for sleep playlist, something like that. I'll share it on my Instagram. I put that on, and I also have a Lumi light. And it does kind of this lovely, it's like you're in the Caribbean and birds aren't chirping, it's crickets, and the sun goes down, and that is lovely. I read my book, I set it on relatively bright, read my book, put the sunset on, gives me a lovely sunset, and by the time the sunset is so dark that I can't read the book anymore, I close my book and I go to sleep, and it's glorious, and this is how I sleep. I was going to chat about screen time, because screen time has been in the news, hasn't it, with new guidance this week about your 2 to 5 year olds not getting more than an hour of screen time a day, and what constitutes as screen time, and what constitutes as screen time in your families, and what constitutes as screen time in our families. But I actually think that I've managed to yap on for so long in this podcast about overwhelm and self-doubt and the app and sourdough guides and all the things and all the tools that this should be left for another one, because this isn't something I want to breeze over quickly. So join me on the next podcast. I'm going to cover that. I'm going to cover screen time, what that means in our family, what that means for our almost 5-year-old and almost 8-year-old. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I absolutely love that I'm back in your ears. I hope you've enjoyed it too. I hope you've enjoyed hearing my takeaways and toolkits for overwhelm and self-doubt, and more about the app and more about my sourdough guide. Go buy it if you want to make sourdough. It would make a huge difference to my world. And I look forward to hearing you on the next one. Lots of love, and speak to you soon. Bye.